Are motorcycles pricing themselves right out of the market with tech? Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Good moto morning, people. Welcome to Kraken's Garage. Today we're going to talk about motorcycles and the amount of tech that is appearing on almost all bikes. And are they pricing themselves out of the market because of this tech? Now, where this conversation kind of comes from, I had this back when I was in the car business, and this is a long time ago, before cars had ABS, anti-lock brake systems, and airbag. Here's the problem. A working man or woman could buy a pickup truck, very inexpensive. Trucks have gotten out of control, and now they're $100,000 these days. But back then you could buy a full-size truck with a 6-cylinder manual shift, and it would get you by on the cheap for, say, $7,000–8,000 back then. Then the government got involved. ABS is a wonderful thing, it really is, but they made it standard on every motor vehicle, and followed up right after that was a single airbag for the driver's side, and then eventually a dual airbag for the front. And I get it, from the government's perspective, we're saving lives, so this must be standard on all vehicles. That's great and all well and good, but you just, at that period of time, on automobiles, they added about $2,000 worth of tech to a vehicle. And now that $8,000 truck was $10,000, over 5 digits at the time. And people were struggling to afford that. Now, I use that term loosely. People were struggling to afford that. What I mean by that is there's a lot of people out there, blue-collar workers, single-family moms and dads that are trying to raise kids on a single income and footing the bill for feeding a lot of mouths, housing and clothing, gas, repairs, etc., and let alone a car or a car payment on top of that adds up. And as a result, they don't get to enjoy $30,000 motorcycles or cars with all this tech. Well, that brings me to this question today about this very bike I'm riding right here. We have anti-lock brakes, we have hill control, we have cruise control. Some of the bikes now offer radar cruise control. BMW does, for starters, I know, where it sets a distance between you and the car in front of you. If that car slows down, the bike will slow down accordingly, so you don't have to just keep turning it on and off as you're trying to figure it out. Let me get through this nasty intersection and we'll get back on topic. A lot of bikes have throttle by wire. You have fuel injection instead of carburetors. You have a lot of sensors. You have lean sensors. You have headlights that when you lean, they light up the side of the road in the direction that you're leaning in. All of that is a ka-ching added onto the price tag of the bike, and it's skyrocketing the prices of bikes right now. Even on my little Kawasaki 400, I mean, you have Bluetooth connectivity with your phone, all of this stuff. Here's my argument. One of the reasons why Royal Enfield is so wildly popular right now is because they just build a basic bike. Yes, they have ABS, most of them. I'm not sure. I'm not as intimate with the Royal Enfield, but you can buy a darn good bike on the cheap that doesn't have all of this tech driving the price up through the stratosphere. So as a result, they are selling like hotcakes to a lot of people and I would say gaining market share because they went back to the basics of what motorcycling used to be. So my question is, why doesn't Harley-Davidson, why doesn't Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, BMW build a basic bike? No nothing on it. A speedometer with a trip meter, no gas gauge, no ABS, none of the other high-tech items, fine, put incandescent bulbs on it. Even though LEDs are dirt cheap, yet manufacturers charge big money for LED lights. I don't understand that. LED nodes are dirt cheap to assemble and put together. Separate rant on a different issue, but I would argue that they would have a wildly popular bike if they put made what they used to call a universal Japanese motorcycle, UGM, and that was like your Honda CB 500 or something along those lines. Put it out so it's affordable, so the average person can buy it, or a person wanting to get into motorcycling can buy it. Right now, the entry-level motorcycle in Harley-Davidson lineup is a Sportster in America. I can't speak for the rest of the world because they get a Chinese variant of a Harley that's very inexpensive. But the Sportster, you're going to pay north of $15,000, and then you have to deal with the Harley dealers and all their fertilizer fees that add typically a lot of money onto the price. So you're getting into really big money for their entry-level bike. This isn't a bang on Harley, that's your business model, so I get that. If you're starting out in riding, I wouldn't recommend buying a Harley. They're too much money. The Honda Rebel will do you just fine. Suppose BMW came out with, I jokingly have always said BMW is an acronym for big money wasted. That's tongue-in-cheek, folks. Don't get upset, I'm joking. Suppose they put out a thumper in the 500-600cc, or even a small boxer, and put no tech on it, and a solid black bike that's your only color, like Henry Ford. You'll love all our cars as long as you love black, and with a white pinstripe, and you would have a good looking bike. Stick to your heritage and your roots that you've had for 100 years, and put that bike out for $7,000, something along those lines, without all the tech on it. Would you have a popular bike? Would it sell? Versus the R18 was, as it continues to be a challenge, where they build a behemoth of a bike and are asking 23 grand for it, and it is failing in North America in the sales department. I don't know. Are bikes pricing themselves out of the market? I would be interested in hearing what you have to say. Would you buy a basic bike and go back to your roots of kind of where you started? Or do you need to have all this tech? Is this what you want? Is this what you enjoy? Do you really need Bluetooth connectivity and maps and GPS, etc., when you can clamp your cell phone to your handlebar and it gives all of you that 90% of all of that to you already? Yes, even to your cardio system in your helmet, you can get music and directions from Google Maps or CarPlay or whatever. I think you understand what I'm saying. I would be interested in hearing what you have to say about that. Let me know down below. It's a fascinating question. Thank you for joining me today. There's my ghost dog Bullet. He's up here to remind me to wrap things up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding because it's good for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.